planet is heating up. People are restless and the rich run everything. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be broadcast over the next hour live on Radio Chaser.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Radio Chaser. Andrew Hansen's here. Chris Taylor is here. My name is Dom Knight. Coming up, we're looking for stories about your worst birthday ever with Lenny Kravitz. Tickets up for grabs and a game based on home and away. Can't wait for that one. But first, U2. Is it the same with you guys? Is everyone in your lives banging on about going to U2?
I was at a family event on Sunday, and my brother, who literally never goes to see live music, I think the last concert he went to was Mozart. So,
I've heard he's good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's a bit young.
A while ago, too.
It was a while
ago.
No, it was a while ago. My brother's very old. But no, he went. He was a little bit down on the SCG venue, but he said U2 were outstanding. He said they did the whole Joshua Tree record, and then all the hits. They got a bit of Sunday Bloody Sunday. Then they got a bit of One, I think, towards the end at the encore. So, yeah, big rave reviews.
My brother was the same. My brother never goes to gigs. He was there, waited for 4 hours to get in, couldn't go to the bathroom, but apparently just absolutely... The bathroom queues were half an hour long, apparently, so he'd missed most of the gig. But he still said amazing.
Isn't it unusual for Sydney, where you can have an event where the bathroom queues are half an hour and people still have a good night? You know what I mean? Every New Year's Eve, people always bitch about queues for the food, queues for you couldn't see the fire. Apparently, you couldn't see anything at the U2 concert. Still, everyone had a great time.
I'm suspicious. This is what I'm wondering about, because the thing is, my brother spent 4 hours before even jolly Noel Gallagher started.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just think if you spend 8 hours going to this gig and standing up solidly for 8 hours, you're not going to tell everyone if it's crap, are you? You're not going to admit. You're not going to go to work and go, "Oh, I went to U2. That was a bit mediocre."
Well,
didn't enjoy that.
I know what you mean. Where you feel you've done your time, you feel you have to enjoy it. But then there's that other great Australian pastime of bitching about things.
That's true.
When things don't go to plan, and so if Noel Gallagher plays too many Oasis songs, or rather too many solo songs from his new album,
give us some more high-flying birds. Shut up with your Oasis Wonderwall.
Too much Wonderwall. I don't think that was trending.
So here at Triple M, of course, lots of people went. Some of our tickets come our way. But anyway, so I want to know, did people actually enjoy U2, which is where this device comes in handy?
Are your friends saying things like,
"I can't believe you missed U2. They were magnificent."
U2 Live was like Woodstock, the moon landing, and the Sydney Olympics rolled into one.
then you need the U2 translator to tell you what they're really saying. Now, when you hear,
"We were in the most amazing position. I was 10 metres from Bono."
it really means,
Bono was a tiny speck in the distance. Or was that Edge? Or a roadie?
The sound was incredible, better than a recording.
translates to,
The sound was so I thought Noel Gallagher was still playing.
Oh man, every song they played was a stone cold classic.
the translation is,
Oh God, half the set came from that shitty album that everyone deleted off their iPhones even though it was free.
the U2 translator, the ultimate way to check when your friends are exaggerating slightly.
Radio Chaser, Triple M.
Look, a bit of news out of America now. And look, I know this shows... We've been a bit guilty about being down on Donald Trump.
Sure.
It's been a scepticism generally across the whole universal media, including the Triple M empire, that Trump, hasn't got much done. He talked a big game in the 2016 election. He had all these policies, and there's a general feeling that it's mostly been an administration of dysfunction, chaos, illegality, impeachment, you name it. It's basically hasn't been going that well.
There's no wall and the swamp is still full.
I'm here to shine a light and just, in the interests of saying it's not all bad news, there has been an actual policy development that Donald Trump can take a bow for involving the US Defence Forces.
Oh, really?
As of this week, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has passed a policy that all male Marines, that is members of the US Marines, can now carry umbrellas.
Well, there you go. Well, let's not criticise then. I mean, that's
a landmark
extraordinary.
achievement.
Why isn't this being talked about more? This is mission accomplished. Did he launch this with a mission accomplished banner behind him, written on a big umbrella?
I think at least a mission accomplished tweet in caps and a few words misspelt, but he's pretty happy with himself.
Wow.
Now, look, I must admit I wasn't aware previously members of the US Defence Force couldn't carry umbrellas.
Could not, because presumably they can carry things like heavy artillery and bazookas.
Maybe that was the rule, that they were so burdened or so obligated to carry, assault rifles that there was no extra hand to carry an umbrella.
Well, it's the greatest opponent we humans have. The elements.
Everyone needs a third hand. We've all got two hands covered with rifles. We need a third hand to carry a brolly. Now, where the law gets interesting, apparently for 200 years, female Marines have always been allowed to carry umbrellas.
How genteel,
But
really?
the male Marines haven't been. And the theory goes is that they need one hand free at all times for saluting.
You can't salute with an umbrella in your hand. That is true. I have tried, and it doesn't end well.
Well, so you can have your eye out. If you salute with a brolly in your hand and the brolly's pointing the wrong way.
Or even a fork or a chopstick. I mean, you shouldn't really carry anything pointy if you're a Marine.
Anyway, so I don't know how they're getting around this now, how they're combining saluting duties with protecting yourself from rainfall. But Trump's allowing it. What I'd like to see, though, because when I was thinking about this, you don't see many great portraits of war, whether they're paintings or photographs, of battle scenes with the troops carrying umbrellas. Do you know what I mean?
What are you talking about, Taylor? Haven't you seen like those statues in Europe? They've all got a little umbrella propped up, Nelson's column.
We all did our history. World War I was very wet. There was a lot of mud, at Passchendaele and the Somme. Not once did I see anyone from, the Allies side put up a brolly.
Well, if you go back to ancient Rome, though, they had those circular shields, and they would form like a phalanx of the soldiers. They'd sort of come together like a turtle with the shields. You couldn't get through.
So you think historians have had it wrong all these years? We thought that was an amazing sort of military strategy.
That's right.
They would just protect themselves from a bit of drizzle.
Triple M Radio Chaser.
Our Dommy and Charles. Look,
or Chris.
we
don't ever confuse me for Charles.
Sorry. I'm always, you're not normally here, Chris, and I'm getting very confused. You could sue me because if you use the wrong word, it turns out you can actually sue people. This Canadian guy did this. Like he's in Parliament. I mean, we speak English here in Australia, and I think things only have to be written in English.
Speak a version of English.
Well, some sort of English, and they speak some Australian version of English in Canada too, apparently. Anyway. He's in Parliament. He's having a drink out of the water tap, the bubbler, and he got very, very annoyed because
he was drinking out of Todd Carney.
Sometimes necessary to specify whether they're bubbling or pushing the button.
We should ban that word from Triple M, shouldn't we? Let's just call it the water fountain.
Yeah.
Well, DNRL, this whole thing. And it only had the word push printed on the button in English, but it didn't have the French word for push printed on the button. So the guy sued the Parliament, won, and got paid $1,600.
Wow.
Yeah, because it didn't have the French word for push. It didn't say pousser. The man was very, very angry because he wasn't getting enough pousser.
Yeah, Donald Trump would have tried to grab it if they'd written that on there.
Well, yes.
I just love, there's one button on a bubbler, a water fountain. It's pretty obvious what to do with. I reckon I got through all of my primary school without any sign on that button whatsoever. I kind of knew what to do with the button.
There was no text at all.
I had no push. I had no push. I had nothing. I knew instinctively to push it if I wanted water to appear.
I guess this guy just doesn't have your talents, Chris. So he said it made him feel like a second-class citizen. He didn't like it. He said it should have had the both words printed there. And I tell you what, Canadians have a terrible time whenever they eat out.
Excusez-moi, garçon?
Yes, sir.
Your restaurant menu is infringing my Canadian French language rights.
How so?
Here, at the top, it says menu.
Well, it is a menu. What's the problem?
You only printed the word menu in English, not French.
I'm pretty sure a menu is also the French word for a menu.
Then you should have printed both words on the menu.
What, like menu?
Absolument.
Okay, I'll look into that.
I am not finished, monsieur. Look at the first section of your menu.
Entrees?
Exactement. Where is the French word for entrees?
That is the French word for entrees.
No, it is the English word. The French word is entrees.
Listen, maybe you should go to the restaurant next door.
I would, but their sign only says restaurant. They forgot to include the French word for restaurant.
Oh my God, I'm getting déjà vu.
You should also use the French word for déjà vu.
Sorry, that was a faux pas.
Radio Chaser. Triple M.
The Queen has shut down Prince Andrew's 60th birthday. Here on Radio Chaser, we're going to talk about this. And I've got Lenny Kravitz tickets for the best call, by the way. I'm going to ask about birthday disasters. Have you had one gone wrong, like cancelled or no one turned up?
I have a fear of this. And for that reason, I generally never have birthdays because I'm just paranoid and self-conscious that no one will turn up. But I was quite moved the other day. Did you see in the paper over in America, this young kid who was like turning 4 or something, and he'd put out invites to all the kids at school to come, and it was so sad no one turned up. And his mother sort of put a photo of him on social media there alone at his birthday party. And the local fire brigade took so much pity on him that they all turned up to the party. Several houses burned because of their fire commitments, because of their party commitments. But and then it sort of had an awful sort of bittersweet sting in the tail that rather than everyone sort of feel sorry for this kid, apparently everyone just started loading on him for being a loser. No one turning up to his party.
And he's like, well, my friends are fiery. So,
Yeah.
well, look, my birthday is always a bit awkward for me. I used to love having 26th of January birthday, public holiday and fireworks and all that. But in recent years, it's become a little awkward. Australia Day, you mentioned it. People get all feisty. I'm wondering about moving the date of my birthday.
Well, I'm okay with Australia Day being the 26th of January. I'm not okay with Dom Knight's birthday being the 26th of January. So I think you need to move, and then the rest of Australia will become less divided.
That's a good idea. 13353. Your birthday gone wrong. I remember a friend of ours back in in early 20s booked a giant venue, and I think 3 people turned up. I mean, that is a nightmare, isn't it, when that happens?
That's not good. I went to remember that. I kind of miss kids' birthdays. Prince Andrew obviously doesn't miss them. I think he throws them quite often.
Allegedly.
But, red card! But, because I remember when your friend would book out the Pizza Hut or like Red Rooster and you'd go and have a kid's birthday.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I went to one at the Red I won't name...
I think it's a bit late
the
for
Red
that.
Turkey, let's call it. We all had a great time. The minute we all got home, everyone had the most appalling, salmonella. It was just kids throwing up everywhere. In my lolly bag, it was just full of vomit from the remnants of the lunch. So birthdays can go very, very wrong, especially when kids are
just don't eat at the Red Turkey.
You weren't ready, I suppose. 13353. Stories about birthdays gone wrong. I've got 2 tickets to Lenny Kravitz. He's playing Sydney in April. They could be yours. Chase the line's open now.
Triple M Radio Chaser.
We're looking for stories about birthdays gone wrong. Like, for instance, Prince Andrew, whose big gala 60th plans were somewhat ruined by, I don't know, the giant scandal he's currently involved in.
What sort of plans did they have? Like, when you say Prince Andrew has had his birthday cancelled, what do you have in mind?
Probably some swan being disemboweled. I don't know what they do for birthdays in the Royals.
A few horses over?
Yeah. They're still having a family dinner, so probably a couple of 100 people will still come.
That's what I wondered. Is it just downgraded from 2,000 people and 4,000 swans being slaughtered down to an intimate party of 100 people?
Well, he'd booked Jeffrey Epstein's house and, all right, 13353. When did your birthday end badly? And look, Lenny Kravitz tickets for the best story. By the way, Emily in Queens Valley, tell us about your birthday that went wrong.
Well, my birthday went wrong because I was unfortunately born the same day as my dad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, how is that fair?
Not literally the same day. Like your dad was being born when you were being born.
Nah, I wish. That would be funnier.
My birthday went really wrong too,
Oh, is this Dad?
This is the dad's?
This is Dad.
Oh, so you both resent having to share the same birthday?
Oh, you should live this nightmare.
But isn't that great? You can just have a massive party that you share together?
No.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what it's like to have my own birthday. How is that fair in 22 years?
Have you not developed a sort of a rotational system where every other year it's the daughter's birthday, every other year it's the dad's birthday?
You see, says just die, you old man. Die.
Well, I think, Emily, if you move to the other side of the planet, maybe move to London, it won't be an issue.
Oh, it'll still be an issue.
You'll follow me.
What do you do with presents? Do you cancel each other out so you just agree to get nothing for anybody, or do you sort of give to each other?
Well, maybe
vodka.
And maybe he give me these tickets that can make up for his lack of presents.
All right.
Yeah. Well, maybe you shouldn't be spending more time together. I'm not sure. Let's go to Rachel in Gaimea. Rachel, birthday disasters. What was yours?
So when I was having my 18th birthday party, I invited a whole bunch of people over, and 1 hour into the party, we had a blackout that lasted 4 hours.
Ooh.
So we had no power, no nothing, no music, but we could still drink.
Oh.
So it was
So
all right.
a different kind of blackout followed, did it?
Yeah.
I reckon that'd kind of be cool. Because you go to so many birthdays that are unmemorable, where things go right. But people would still remember that party, wouldn't they, Rachel?
Yeah, we still talk about it now, and I'm 21.
There you go.
So we set at my 21st.
It's probably...
Hopefully no blackout this time.
Well, I'm thinking it might be disappointing if there isn't a blackout.
Yeah, it's your thing.
Like, people might... Because you can sort of get away with more when there's no lights on, if you know what I mean. Like, it's sort of...
You could.
You know, just on the dance floor, you can pull some daggy moves that you might be embarrassed if they were under full light, but you don't need to worry about what you look like, what you're wearing, if you're wearing anything. It's just, it's a free-for-all.
Or just go to the fuse box, Rachel, and just turn the power out. That'll be lovely. Meredith from Wollongong, memorable birthdays. What was yours?
For my 21st, I had to drive my then boyfriend to court in Newcastle.
Oh.
And we live in Wollongong. And then we had a car accident on the way home.
Oh, no.
Boy, that's quite a lot to pack into one birthday. Where did you fit the cake in amongst that stuff?
During the bail application.
By the time I got home, I'd actually missed my birthday dinner.
Oh, that's not... Now, without getting too involved in the details, what was he up for in court? Was it just a minor misdemeanor?
Yeah, he tends to... He's very big and very loud, so people tend to pick on him.
Oh.
When they want to be macho, so they find the biggest man in the room and they try and have a go at him.
I've heard you do that when you go to prison. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So people want to cause fights, they want to look good in front of their friends, they pick on my now husband. So he was defending himself and got sent away, taken away by the police as well. Right. And then we had to go back to court.
Yeah, well, that does sound like a shitty birthday, doesn't it? Like, you know...
It was lovely.
Yeah.
It's memorable.
I reckon
That's true.
You're certainly a strong candidate at this stage.
Oh, what do we think, Chris and Andrew? Who are you going to give the tickets to?
They're the three options. We've got the father and daughter who share a birthday. I don't think that's much of a burden. They
seem to get on very well. The blackout as well.
The blackout, I reckon, is just fun. I'd love that. So I think Merida in Wollongong, not just because she missed out on her birthday dinner, but on her birthday had to drive, of all places, to Newcastle to go to court for her large, oversized boyfriend. She deserves to go to Lenny Kravitz.
Congratulations, Meredith. You are heading to Lenny Kravitz live at Kudos Bank Arena Friday, 3rd of April. And those who weren't so lucky can get tickets at tickettech.com.au. Congrats.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Enjoy the show.
It's Triple M. Yes, now, Chris and Andrew, a bit of news from the banking world. It's not easy running a bank in 2019. I mean, just because Westpac has been accused of 23 million separate money laundering transactions, just because of that minor glitch, the poor CEO, Brian Hartz, has got to step down, the chair's stepped down, and the chair of the Risk Auditing Commission's committee stepped down as well. I mean, there's hardly anyone left at Westpac. Those poor bankers, admittedly very big golden handshakes as they headed to the door, but still.
Is the girl who smiles at you, in the photos of the ATM, she's still on staff?
No, she was the first to go.
She's the first to go.
Yeah.
It must be hard. Like, if you do run a terrorist organisation or a pedophile sex ring, where do you bank? Like, who... Like, presumably you need to put your money somewhere. And I assume Westpac's not the only world bank that does it, because all of these nefarious institutions, whether it's terrorist or crime-related, mafia, sex rings, it's not all cash businesses. They must be rolling their money through somewhere.
Well, traditionally you Swiss banks, but I think after 9/11 they've closed those loopholes. So great opportunity for Westpac to step up into the global crime syndicate market. I mean, what a great way to break ahead of the big four.
And isn't this a great feather in the cap of the Royal Commission? Remember we had a Royal Commission into our banking system where a lot of bad stuff came up. They seem to miss the whole, we're bankrolling pedophile side of the banking business.
Yeah, and look, you can imagine it from Westpac's perspective. I mean, just one or two money laundering transactions go through, turn a blind eye, before you know it, there's been 23 million. But the thing is, Westpac, look, they're getting on board. No publicity is bad publicity, and Westpac's new ads really, I think, take advantage of this scandal.
Oh, kids, don't you bring that dirty money into this house.
Do you need some cash laundered, rinsed or tumble-dried?
You bet.
Westpac will launder your dodgy cash whiter than white. We're the specialists in money laundering, with 23 million violations that penetrate deep into the fabric of your money.
I used to use Omo for money laundering and I kept getting arrested. With Westpac, I'm free and my wads of cash are so soft against my skin.
At Westpac, we'll wash, dry and iron your dubious banknotes in a jiffy.
Westpac is aware that money laundering is illegal, but even with 23 million violations, we'll just get some trivial fine like CBA did.
This is Radio Chaser on Sydney's 104.9 Triple M.
Now, look, I'm Christmas shopping already for my daughter.
Are you that guy?
You've got to get... Yeah, well, I am that guy. Well, you kind of got to when you've got a kid. You've got to get in early, don't you? But it's a bit alarming, this whole Christmas shopping for kids nowadays. It's all changed, apparently, because nowadays the problem with toys, at least according to the news, is that they can be hacked. They can all be hacked into toys nowadays. Like, this wasn't a thing. You know, when we grew up, my Smurfs never got hacked by any Russians, and
that we know of.
Gargamel was a very nefarious character.
Like, do you know what your Smurfs got up to at night when you were sleeping? How do we know the Russians didn't manipulate them into unusual positions?
Look, maybe so. They may have been interfering with the Australian electoral process. My Smurfs, even via Russian agents. I don't know. Actually, yeah. To be fair, but today, the thing about today is like. According to this advice, though, the problem with today's toys is they're all kind of wireless. This is why. You know, they've all got this kind of high-tech thing. So there's a list, actually, the telly, we should just chat about this list in the telly, with risky toys to watch out for. Smart toys, you've got to be careful, it says. So anything like a smart teddy bear, apparently that exists.
What's that, a teddy who wears glasses? What?
No, he's an internet-connected teddy bear, Chris.
Well, what does he do, though? What's smart about it?
I guess he Googles things about stuffing and fluff and picnics. I don't know. There's also, apparently, there's an internet-enabled Barbie doll.
Oh, gosh.
She can get,
what have you been doing, Ken?
Yeah, I don't know. Why does she need to be on the internet? I suppose she takes selfies, does she, and puts them on Instagram?
I'm torn by this news, actually, Andrew, because, I mean, as a parent with a 1-year-old myself, I'm very upset at the thought of any, Russian hackers or whatever getting in. But, of course, I want to completely surveil and violate my child's privacy every 24/7.
Yeah.
So I've got cameras everywhere for me, but I don't want the hackers to get into them.
Isn't it interesting? Because, like you always hear those urban myths, which I increasingly believe aren't exactly an urban myth, that things like Google Home and Alexa can actually listen in on your household.
Yeah, they totally do.
Right.
Yeah.
So is this just now like Mattel, the company that produces Barbie, they've got Barbie dolls that can listen in on your kid or you. Is this what's going on potentially?
I think it is, Tyler. Yeah, I think every Cabbage Patch doll in the country is listening in to find out your habits.
Are there any objects that aren't listening in on us right now? So, can we buy books for our kids anymore, or even books listening in on us?
I think they are, according to this list. Like it's got robotic toys, pets you got to be careful of. Little fluffy, drones that kids can have, like flying helicopter things. They're all listening in. One thing. Sorry. The one thing you've got to be particularly careful of that apparently is internet enabled, though, if you're going to give one to your kid, a computer.
Triple M Radio Chaser.
Cat's pajamas or cat's piss.
Now, Chris, Taylor and Dominic Knight, what do you make of these stories? Are they good, cat's pajamas, or are they bad, cat's piss? Now, a Coles worker's in the news, got in a bit of trouble, was stealing a couple of things, stole some dog biscuits and some chockies, and they were worth $13,000. So quite a lot of dog biscuits and maybe a few chockies. I guess my question to you is, if you were going to steal $13,000 worth of stuff from a supermarket, is that a good choice of things to steal?
Well, it kind of depends on what sort of party he's throwing. Like, I assume he's catering for some kind of weird dog-human dinner party. And his job was to bring the petit fours. So he's gone, well, chockies for the humans, bickies for the dogs. I think this is cat's pajamas. I know Coles weren't the ones who got in trouble with wage theft recently, but I assume they're all in on it. So if your employer...
hang on.
Red card.
Triple M Management assures you that whatever opinion you just heard about a valued sponsor is not at all that person's opinion or the opinion of anyone who works at Triple M.
Oh, no, cat's piss, not just because they're a valued sponsor, but also why would you bother lifting 13 grand worth of dog biscuits and chocolates? That is one prime little shop piece is worth more than that.
It is, too,
yes. Well, do they do the little plastic
Do you think he got the little
dog
shop?
biscuits? Can you get little plastic dog biscuits?
You've made it through another episode. Might be time for a treat. Join Brooke Boney in the Grey Goose Garden Bar for the smooth sounds of audio-enhanced cocktails. It's the first of its kind, immersive 3D audio experience. Together, you'll make delicious cocktails, then Brooke will take you on a journey, pairing certain sounds with different flavours, making your senses collide. The Grey Goose Garden Bar. Smooth sounds of audio-enhanced cocktails. Out now via